So you can pick these barrels up pretty cheap. This is a 55-gallon barrel here. I cut out my pattern. Don't ask me how I came up with this, but basically I took a piece of cardboard and put it up there. This is an arm guard for my Arctic Cat. So what I'm working on right now is absolutely naked in the front. So we cut this piece out in cardboard, and in the end what it's going to look like is it's going to look like this. This is the one for the other side already. It's already formed out. So we've used this as a pattern for that. And then we'll trim it up once it's on there, make sure it's all nice and smoothed out and stuff. So this is the same material here. I'm just kind of cut it out with a jigsaw, and then we'll start forming it on there. And there's a couple things that you see, all these 5 holes that are in here. We actually welded a couple pieces onto this bike. So let's see here. So this piece here was actually on here to begin with. So this is looking straightforward. I think this was supposed to be like some kind of a guard of some kind. We added this piece in with a 1/4 inch, I think it's, I don't know, 4355 or something like that. It's pretty heavy, high carbon steel. And then spot welded a couple of washers in here with a TIG. Same with this side here. And then we thread these holes for 1/4 by 28 so we can put it all on there. It'll go on the same way as this whole fixture here. There's a full panel all the way down. Have a lot of problem getting over junk around here. It just protects the bike a little bit better. And all this paint that's on here, they did the whole bike, on the whole frame on this bike. This is all POR 15. And those of you who have messed with that, you know it's good stuff. Flows out real nice and pretty. And does a great job. Don't get it on anything you don't want it to stay on, like your hands, or it ain't coming off, not even with gasoline. Pretty expensive stuff. It's about $40 a pint. And anyway, there's that. That'll keep the rust down here in the rainforest we're at in western Washington. So got a few more things to do this. I want to tap these out and put grease fittings in them. The same with the tie rod ends. Got all new hardware on this thing. So anyway, we'll show you what this looks like when we get it all put together. Okay, so we got this part cut out. Now what you're going to do is match this all up here to your supports below your A-arms. Get it all lined up so you can cut these grooves out. That one's got to be moved over just a little bit, or the whole thing does. There we go. And there, we're going to cut some V's in that so when it comes up, it fits in there nice and tight. We'll get to that here in just a second. Okay, so we got our grooves cut out here. I'm just using a saber saw or a jigsaw, whatever you want to call it. And I know some of us are from different parts of the world. Creeks, brooks, streams, you know, all that stuff. And then the next thing we're going to do is going to press this out. You're going to need a little torch or heat gun. We're going to press these over to 90 degrees here. Just heat it up just a little bit. Don't get it too hot. Don't bend it too fast. It'll crack. Right here on this line is where we're going. And she'll flex as you heat it up. The heat gun works pretty good too, but it's a little slower, not quite as hot. So this will bend right over the other board there. And what I usually do is just take a hammer like this and just tap it down. Get a nice angle on it. So here's the first bend. It'll sharpen up a little bit once I get it mounted on the machine. Now we got to make this other bend. The boards are nice because it gives you nice crisp angles. You don't want to get too rough with this unless it's really warm. It'll crack. And then you're doing some plastic welding. That's no fun. Okay, so I got all anchored on here. You know, from the front, that's what it's going to look like right there. I mean, there's a lot of protection there, where before, CVs are all exposed. So straight across, I mean, this is some solid stuff. And if it ever breaks, you're out a couple of bucks to make another one. Save your cardboard patterns. And then in the back, you've got, pretty good protection in the back. Not quite as good. I guess you could really bring this up here, but when your arm comes up and down, it's going to push that closer to the side. So you have to give yourself some relief. I'm going to have to play around with that a little bit once they get it back on the ground here. I've got her winched up in the rafters here right now. So, it's on there. So now what I'm going to do is I'll heat it up. I got a couple tight spots here. I got to heat up, bend that in. This stuff molds real nice. And then right here I've got a tight spot where the brake caliper and everything comes into it. I'm going to have to bend that out or push it back just a little bit. This looks exposed right here, but once the wheel's here, the wheel's going to come out to here, so it's going to cover most of this. So, I could just cut that off. But I'll bend it around here, that way if a stick hits it, it'll keep the stick from going into the equipment, and it'll be a wraparound. You know what I'm saying? Where it'll wrap around this way. So it'll wrap around. That way if anything comes into it, it'll just deflect it downwards. A lot of the stuff that we have up here is, logging country with dug firs and hemlock trees, and it's pretty hard on equipment. So anyway, let me finish this up, and then we'll see what she looks like once she's all wheeled up and getting ready to go to throw the wheel back and forth here. Okay, so I pretty much got this. I don't know if you can see in here, this is pretty close, about a 1/4 inch from the brake rotor. Got some room in the back here, just barely enough. So I covered that up nicely. And as far as clearance, we're nice and tight right here. That's going to change a little bit when the suspension compresses a little bit. But straight down the road, that's what it's going to look like. And like I said, we're going to curl this out to clear the caliper. So if a stick comes in here, it'll direct it downwards. That'll keep stuff from getting back in the hole there. And the same with the front side, I curl that too. So actually when this suspension comes up, that's going to get tighter up in here. It's going to move back here probably an inch. Right now you've got about 1.5 inches there. And then on the back, you've got pretty good protection in the back here. Going straight, it's pretty tight. I keep this machine pretty stock as far as the tires and wheels and stuff. So I got 12 by 26s on here, I think. Yeah. 12 by 26s. And there you have it. Now I have to get the other one on. This is, like I said, you can buy these tapered screws. They work real great in a washer. I don't put a washer in here because I don't want that flattened out so far. You just heat it up a little bit and then just snug that screw up. This stuff is on here. So, and as far as durability, it's going to take a little bit of something to break that. A lot cheaper than replacing a CV joint and being down for any amount of time. Especially during elk season out here, we want to keep everything happy and rolling. So there's that. We'll get the other side on and then pretty much call it a day. And we're going to start working on the back here real soon too. That's a whole different setup in the back, because the A-arms aren't the same as this. They're kind of an offset triangle instead of a perfect triangle. Okay, well, there you have it. That's what it looks like, just straight on. Pretty good coverage. That'll keep the sticks down. Might actually even flare this downward just a little bit to kind of diffuse sticks up instead of back through here. Sometimes they'll come right through here and right up through the bottom of the seat sometimes at 10 miles an hour on some of these little skidder trails. All right, there you have it. Okay, well, here it's done. It took me a couple hours to knock this out. That's looking straight forward at it right there. I'm going to slow the sticks down just a tad. And like I said, this thing turns in really, she's snug in there. Same with this side here. It's just, you know, we're just right on the edge of things here. Still got a couple, like I said, fine-tune adjustments to do. Not sure what's rubbing what, but I got something rubbing right there. I figured that out. Just a little piece probably. Anyway, there you go. Simple way to do it with a 55-gallon barrel or some kind of PFTE or HDME or some kind of poly. The barrel I like better. All right, there you go.